Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.
Welcome in on this Monday afternoon, and thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Happy Monday. As you take a look at some of the high temperatures unofficially across the area today, it was another warm one, and we don't really expect that to change anytime soon. Special shout out to 7 Square Coffee, the newest local business partner of the Digital Weather Desk. We've got some fun stuff planned with them in the works, and more details on that as we get closer to planning and kind of scheduling some stuff out. But it involves a monthly sit and coffee chat, if you will, at 7th Square. So we can visit in person and we can talk weather and have some coffee and all that good stuff. So really looking forward to getting that scheduled, and we'll have more details down the pipeline soon. A look at temperatures across the area as Stanley flips out about something. What's wrong, bud? You good? Okay. He's freaked out about something, but that's normal for him. Upper 70s to low 80s, so where we sit for unofficial high temperatures for the day, that's pretty much where temperatures sit at this hour. At the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour, dew points are starting to climb a little bit, 40s and 50s for the most part. Still a relatively dry air mass when you take into account how warm it is outside. Winds are out of the south, and they have been a little breezy at times today. I would expect that to be the trend again tomorrow. Some pretty sustained 10-mile-an-hour winds, but some sustained up to 15, not out of the question as we go through the next couple of days. A look at the normal precip totals. Again, you typically are wanting to aim for about 100% of your normal rainfall, and the downside of that is we don't really look for that to change, at least in the next 2 or 3 days. Now, the plus side to it is the rain chances are on the increase for the end parts of this week, but there's still a lot of question marks as to how this storm system will evolve and how it will bring those rain chances back into the region. And I'm starting to have a lot of skepticism as to the late week rain chances, and perhaps the best rain chances of this entire storm system may hold off until the latter half of the weekend, maybe into early next week, and you'll see why in just a minute. Ethel, good evening to you as well. And a reminder of the drought monitor and the drought conditions that are in place across a good chunk of the region. We need rainfall, and we're kind of trending in the wrong direction. The last couple of days, we were looking at some pretty significant rain totals being advertised across the region, some drought-busting rain at that, and now we're starting to see a lot of the computer model data kind of back off on a lot of the rainfall and shift the heftiest totals off to our northwest. Not ideal for our area. Visible satellite, as we start to lose daylight on this Monday, shows bountiful sunshine across the Arklamis. As you take a look at the radar, made possible by Brown's Roofing, not a whole lot doing in our immediate area. Dustin asks, do you feel like we're done with the cold weather? I think we're going to probably deal with one more cold snap at some point. How cold that will be, whether we get below freezing or not, I can't really speculate on that. But in terms of prolonged cold, yeah, I think winter's pretty much toast at this point. I do think, again, there will probably be another colder snap, maybe some frost, or maybe even a light freeze again across the area at some point during the month of March. But in terms of widespread cold, wintry precipitation, things of that nature, at least in our area, all of that, it seems very unlikely through the rest of the wintertime months. Of course, now March is considered meteorological spring. Just for record-keeping purposes and all that stuff, it's just easier for us to call March, April, May, spring. June, July, August, summer. September, October, November, fall. December, January, February, winter. That's the meteorological seasons. It's just easier that way. Anyway, look at Futurecast, made possible by Bayou Power Sports. I-20 frontage road in Monroe shows the winds back out of the south, and the afternoon cloud cover will ramp up tomorrow. Could see a few stray showers or even a storm or two on Wednesday, especially as our front starts to approach the region Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Maybe even some severe weather potential across the Arklatex region. Most of that should stay out of our area and continue to advance into the central sections of Arkansas and into the northern parts of the natural state. Then the front kind of gets pushed back to the north, and the focal point for any thunderstorm potential stays well to our northwest as we go into the day on Friday, and then we cue that cold front to eventually kind of drag across the area as we go into Saturday. And that sets the stage for multiple waves of rainfall and potentially some thunderstorms then as well. So look at the severe weather threats. Again, all your severe weather alerts and hazards made possible by Allegiance Health Network. This outlook did not change with the Wednesday afternoon update, and I'm not really surprised by that. Again, supercells will be capable of kind of all severe weather hazards on Wednesday, but the best threat probably stays to our west through this entire event. I can't really imagine a significant severe weather threat in our region. The front just kind of stalls to the northwest, doesn't make a lot of eastward progress into our region. The severe threat for Thursday, way west. Friday, closer, but still way west as the front continues to stay stalled to the west. Eventually, it starts to make that eastward turn on Saturday, but then the upper level components that would really support any kind of significant severe weather kind of get left off to the north and east. And so as we look at the mid-level pattern and I kind of show you what I'm talking about, again, a dramatic shift in our upper level winds, which have been westerly and northwesterly for some time now, and then back out of the southwest by mid to late week. And this is disturbance 1, which would bring the potential for maybe some strong to severe thunderstorms again through the day on Wednesday. Note the stronger winds in the mid-levels of the atmosphere bypasses to the north and west, and so the better ingredients for organized thunderstorms likely stay to our northwest as well. So that's storm system number 1. As I mentioned, kind of the primer to the upper level pattern. It sets us up for the larger storm system to evolve and move into the area this weekend. Now, the latest model data continues to hint that this streaky, strong area of mid-level winds stays to our west, as apparently I'm losing my voice on this Monday. Please excuse me. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Anyway, so we have these stronger mid-level winds in the mid-levels of the atmosphere in the central plain states, and it really kind of sets us up for the stronger wind dynamics that would fuel any organized thunderstorms to generally stay to our west to start the day Saturday. And then as we really kind of see this main disturbance get kind of stretched out, it's going to perhaps split into 2 forms. First would be the first trough of low pressure that swings through the area on Saturday. That brings the cold front closer to our area, okay? Then there would be a second upper low that kind of cuts off and gets squeezed back out to the south and west, and we mentioned that this morning. So as the first disturbance moves through, it's responsible for producing the cold front, which is now draped across the area. So you've got this, let's change colors, just for the fun of it. So now you've got this upper level system that has now stretched out a cold front all across the central United States. Meanwhile, you've got this upper low funneling moisture up and over the boundary. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound, similar to what we dealt with during the ice storm? This is very common for this time of year. Subtropical jet stream moisture funneling in on a conveyor belt across much of the Rio Grande Valley and into the southern United States. This is not a shocking setup by any stretch of the imagination. So the big question is, as we go into the weekend, where does the cold front set up? Does the front drape across our area? Does it stay stalled to the northwest? Does it get deeper into our area and enhance the rainfall rates? We really don't know. And the other question with that is the latest model data continues to push this broad upper low out to the west and keep it there for even longer before it opens back up into the upper level pattern and phases in as we go into the early parts of next week. Eventually, you see those stronger winds aloft have to move overhead, and we're going to scour out whatever moisture is available in terms of rainfall. Again, depending on how this evolves, we could see rain and thunderstorms, but no real severe weather threat. We could see rain and thunderstorms capped by a severe weather threat that sweeps east early next week. We could really hold off on a lot of the rain through much of the weekend and then see it all early next week as this storm system just kind of crawls eastward. There's a lot of question marks, and that's why I haven't really got into a lot of specifics in terms of what we can expect late this week and going into the weekend. I acknowledge there's a lot of outdoor plans, and so I don't want folks canceling things too early, moving things around, rescheduling them simply because it looks soggy. Because again, the forecast can move up and back, a day or 2 or 3 at a time, depending on how the storm systems evolve. So I hope all that kind of makes sense as we set the stage for the latter part of the week. Potential rain totals. And again, of note, I've shown this 3 times today, and all 3 times we've seen vastly different numbers. Okay, not vastly. This afternoon and the midday were pretty similar, but this morning we were looking at 2 to 4 inch rain totals across the area over the next 7 days. Midday it was more like 1 to 3 inches. Now we're kind of up to 3 inches potentially across the area. So as the data continues to kind of get, morphed and squeezed and squished, and as we continue to learn more and more about the environment, the storm system that will eventually move into the area, and as we just get closer to the event itself, the data will continue to change, and the forecast changes along with it. You can't force the forecast to go where you want it to go. It takes you by the hand, and it takes you where it's going, and you're just kind of along for the ride. So that's probably the best way to describe how these rain totals will ebb and flow this week. May go up, may go down, we may level out where we are currently. The official rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center, again, falls generally pretty closely in line with the current data, which continues to trend the highest totals to our northwest, where there's still the potential for some 4 and 5 inch totals across western Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. The good news is it does look like rain's headed our way. The downside to it is, in the grand scheme of things, this is not necessarily a drought-busting rainfall. It does look to be an unsettled pattern. It could be potentially drought-busting, but it may not be. I have a lot of skepticism here. A lot of skepticism in the data. It's not the forecast. It's not my forecast. It's not the National Weather Service. It's not the Weather Prediction Center. It's not the Storm Prediction Center. It's just the data itself. We all build the forecasts off the same numbers. And I'm building my forecast kind of side by side with a lot of different, weather folks across the country, government agencies and things like that. And I'm really skeptical about the data here. That's kind of the point I want to drive home. And I still think we're prone to seeing some pretty significant changes in timing and specifics of this forecast. I hope that lets you know how low confidence of a forecast this is for me. Lows tonight, mid to upper 50s. Not quite as cool as it's been, but still cool. Low 80s again tomorrow as the clouds start to sneak back in. A little breezy at times through the afternoon. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15 miles an hour. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. It tweaked the rain chances again. I updated everything midday. I looked at the latest 18Z model, which is slowly trickling in. And I've dropped the rain chances from 80% Saturday, that's where I had them yesterday afternoon, down to 50% for Saturday. And have just pretty much split them 50-50 for Saturday and Sunday. As I look at that, I still don't like the way the forecast looks. I still think that there's going to be some changes that are going to need to be made. And again, we'll just kind of make those changes as the data allows us to. And as we know more about the specifics of severe weather hazards and heavy rainfall threats and all that kind of stuff, I'll keep you updated on that as well. Fishing game set for 8 o'clock tonight. Your forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app, available for Apple and Android users. Folks in southern Arkansas will probably notice their rain chances are still a skosh higher for Saturday as opposed to everybody else if you go check out the app. And you can see all that information there. Live stream tomorrow morning. Next live stream's tomorrow morning, somewhere between 6 and 8:30. Depends on, again, if the little one decides to sleep in, we'll join you early, maybe in the 6 o'clock hour. If she wakes up early and wants to party, then I will join you after we drop her off at day school at about 8:15, 8:30. But either way, I will join you with the latest updates on the forecast. I'll continue to keep an eye on anything that changes as we go into late night hours. But we got a lot of time to mess around with the specifics of the forecast as we pivot toward the latter part of this week. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Thanks for making this part of your day. Thanks for being part of our community. And again, a special shout out and a welcome to 7 Square Coffee in West Monroe. Go swing by and give them a shot if you haven't. They roast their own coffee. It's really good stuff. And they got all kinds of drink specials and all kinds of stuff. So, and it's also a great centrally located area downtown near Antique Alley. So Again, wonderful opportunity to support one of our local businesses that supports us. And there they all are. And we appreciate every single one of them. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by. Like I said, have a great rest of your Monday. I'll see you in the morning, and we'll continue to keep an eye on the rain chances as we go through the latter part of this week.
My name's Chris O'Byrne. I'm with Brown's Roofing. There's a common misnomer in the insurance restoration industry that taking an insurance claim start to finish is similar to remodeling a bathroom. Well, in fact, there's a lot of red tape on the process. Sometimes major adjustments are needed to be able to get the work done and get the work done right. It is very important for an educated representative to get with you today and walk you through this process start to finish. Your peace of mind is our top priority.